Just about everybody in the beauty industry knows Ivan Zoot. Not only is he a record-breaking hair cutter who knows all there is to know about clipper cutting, he also has an infectious personality to match. Once again, Ivan has raised the bar by breaking all 3 of the Guinness World Haircutting Records. In fact, Ivan is so passionate about his speed, he travels the country teaching stylists how to use clippers to increase the number of clients they can service in a single day. Ivan's been on the cutting edge of the beauty industry for nearly 20 years. His classes are not only innovative and educational, but they're fun to watch. I hope you're going to enjoy his amazing story and his advice for all of us. Ivan, it's really great to have you here. We've been talking about getting together and talking about you and about your thoughts on the industry for a long, long time.
Thanks for having me. A little overdue, but
it's a lot overdue. Well, when you try to get 2 busy guys together at the same time, it's not always easy to do. So we had to come here to the International Beauty Show in New York City. And I think it's a perfect venue because you've been a star here for a long time. How many of these have you done?
Wow, I don't know. They don't throw this party without me anymore.
No, they don't. It's actually, they're talking about making it the Zoot International Show. Is that true?
It'd be nice.
It would be.
There's got to be a royalty tied to that. So
of course, well, you're
I'll
gonna
have
make
my
money.
people call someone.
All right, good.
Yeah, but it's probably been 20 some years plus that I've been a presenter at this event.
Well, let's get started. You have three, not 1, not 2, but 3 hairstyling records, okay, which I think are absolutely amazing in the Guinness Book of World Records. Okay, we're going to start with the fastest haircut.
Fastest haircut in the world. I broke that record in 1998. I started teaching my efficiency and productivity system. While I was busy doing that, somebody broke my record. So in 2008, 10 years later, broke it again. Guinness World Record, page 89 of the 2012 book, fastest haircut in the world. 55 seconds. Okay,
55 seconds we're talking about here. 55 seconds. And by the way, there's a lot of rules. So it's not just like you buzz cut it.
There's a lot of rules. No,
it's
no
not
buzz
a flow
cuts.
bee. It's not a flow
Last time
bee.
I did it, for folks that cut hair and have some context, it was a lady's haircut, bobbed, graduated, layered, angled, bangs, and fully texturized, start to finish. 55 seconds.
That's absolutely amazing. Okay, now that's number 1, okay? Number 2 is the most number of haircuts in a single 24-hour period.
Yes.
Okay, when do you do that?
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday till 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Okay.
Line them up, charity event, publicity stunt, put your money down on the counter, get your hand stamped, get a haircut.
Okay.
340 haircuts.
340. That's absolutely amazing.
That's more hair than a typical salon professional in the United States of America today cuts in a month.
Oh, it's amazing.
My records will fall. You know, I would say that there's an Empire student out there who, if they learn my system,
hear the challenge?
Work hard, develop the skills, because the foundation for all this, let's face it, nobody wants a world record haircut.
Right.
This is not, you don't sign up for this, you do this for charity, you do this for fun, but underlying it is the idea, if you have a solid education, and you have solid skills, then what if? What if you focused? What if you practiced? What if you developed a system? So the challenge out there, break my records, take my job.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to retire, and
at some point.
It's going to be time for somebody else to raise the bar. And I'm not afraid of that day because, you know, a big part of this business is mentoring. Finding somebody who has what you have, who's doing what you want to do, who is where you want to be, who can really help you get from wherever you are today to where you need to go.
Tell us about how you got into this business, because I think that itself is instructional to everybody here.
I share the story with students all the time. Elaine was cutting my hair, and I've talked to Elaine since then, so I can use her name. But before I was married, lived in an apartment, getting a haircut at a salon down the block from my house. Elaine would cut my hair. Every time I got a haircut, I didn't like it. And I got good hair. I got pictures of what I want. I can communicate. I'm in sales. I would tell her what I want. And there was nothing wrong with the haircuts. Understand, Elaine was a perfectly good hair cutter. But they weren't what I wanted. And after one particular haircut that I didn't like, I was walking to my car in the parking lot asking myself, why do I keep going back? You know, I never liked the haircuts.
Right.
And rather than just ask the question, let's answer the question. And the answer I determined was, I kept going back because I liked her. Okay. I had a relationship with her that I believed was the type of relationship one has with their hair cutter.
Right.
I liked the location. I liked the price. I liked the music they played on the radio. I liked the $8 bottle of Goop that I bought up front. I liked the owner. He seemed like a cool guy. I liked everything about it except the haircut.
The haircut.
The big takeaway was, this is not about haircuts. It's about people. It's about sales. Because I keep going back, and she's, you know, she might be technically passable, but wasn't delivering what I wanted.
Right.
The next day, I went on a tour at a cosmetology school, looked around, walked around, gathered a bunch of information, and signed up.
Right.
And, you know, I had a good job. I was making good money, but I perceived the industry to be very positive, a very positive opportunity from the creative outlet to the potential earning opportunity to, you know, I'd always wanted to be in the car business. And when I got into this industry, it was a time the car business was not a place to be in America.
Okay.
And I looked at this and I said, boy, haircuts aren't going away. You know, we didn't even have internet then, much less, you know, do haircuts online.
Yeah.
No, this is hands-on. This is right there, show up and do. And it just seemed like it fit. And so far, it's fit.
Obviously, it has done more than fit. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And I think it's interesting, too, you've had challenges. Tell them what you think is the biggest challenge you've ever had in this industry.
My biggest challenge was the technical side of the business. When I first, because I didn't come from this, I showed up at cosmetology school. There's 30, it was a night class because I went to school at night, working during the day because I didn't quit that day job yet. And, you know, 30 people showed up for class, you know, 28 young women who've been doing each other's hair since they were 9, okay? I had absolutely no technical skill. I used to say when I started out in this business, I specialized in asymmetric haircuts.
They weren't intended. They weren't intended to be that way, but
you look at it any way you want. I specialized in asymmetric haircuts. Couldn't get any of them even. So I had to really struggle on the technical side, which for some students, the technical is where they struggle. I kind of came in with a sales background and that sales perspective that made some of that side of the business a little bit easier for me. But there's, you know, every student's going to have challenges, and they're not all going to be the same. And you really want to make the most of what is this opportunity. You know, cosmetology school's fleeting. We count the hours, it goes by quick. My favorite thing about my job right now is visits to cosmetology schools and interacting with students. I love the energy and everything going on in cosmetology schools. But everybody in cosmetology school is in such a hurry to get out of here that they don't make the most of here while they're here.
And now you're doing platform work, and that's why you're here at the International Show. But this is the kind of cool stuff that I want our students to realize, that they can go to any level they want. They can go anywhere they want in the world, literally, just like you've done. And you've done it internationally. You've done it for a major manufacturer. You're doing it for yourself. But what's your thoughts on how does somebody get into something like that?
Finish cosmetology school, take that test, get that license. 2 things. Number 1, find a mentor. Find somebody who knows what you want to know, who has what you want to have, who is where you want to be, who's doing what you want to do. The cool thing about this business, downstairs, you want to talk to Nick Arrojo? He's standing on the floor over there. Go talk to him. You want to talk to Michael O'Rourke from whatever his brand is this time. Go talk to him. He's standing there. These people are, the access in our industry is unprecedented.
It's unbelievable.
And you know, you want to be an automotive designer? Go to a hair show. Ask to talk to Bill Ford. He isn't even in the building. All right? The access is unbelievable. Find a mentor and develop that relationship. And keep in mind, mentor relationships are 2-way streets. You're going to get a lot. You're going to be expected to give a lot as well. So find a mentor, leverage that relationship is number 1. And number 2 is you got to get experience. I tell people no matter where you want to go, no matter what you want to do in this business, the grandest of dreams you may have, your first job out of school, go get a job at Zippy Clips down by the mall. And you know those places I mean. In every neighborhood,
there's a lot of Zippy
there's different
Clips.
names. With all due respect, because I worked for those guys, my salon was modeled off of that type of chain. I fell in love with that sector of our business. But magic happens at the low-price, high-volume, family-oriented chain salons. Because what happens is this. You show up for work. They hire you. On day 1, you get some form of training. Which is extraordinarily important because it sets in motion the idea. 5 minutes after you graduate from Empire, go learn something else. Because they've got what they've got and there's more out there. It sets in motion the idea of lifelong learning in the industry. You will continue to learn. You'll make that a part of intrinsically who you are in the business is that learning. You might get an hour, you might get a week, you might get a day, you might get a month, you get some training, and then they turn you loose on the public.
On real people.
Real people. And the beautiful thing is, at the end of your first day at Zippy Clips down by the mall, your ankles will be swollen, your knees will be aching, your back will be stiff, your shoulders will be cramped, your fingers will be bleeding, and you'll have 26 bucks cash in one of your pockets because you just did 18 haircuts. They have the volume. And if there's anything in this business that you don't know how to do, you know, those of us that have been around a while, think back to the first time you put in a head of foils. How'd that go? How long did that take?
That was
this
a while.
side is pure white. You haven't even put them in the other side yet. Okay? That's how we learn in the business. But you know what? If you don't know how to do something in this business, go do 400 of them.
Right. It's repetition.
You'll figure it out.
We've had a great strategic
The Empire folks have enjoyed having me around, and
you know why?
I've enjoyed
it's because we believe in the same kind of thing. We have the same kind of culture. Yeah. It's the love of this industry. It's the love of our students. It's the love of our teachers.
On those students.
Absolutely. Well, and ultimately, all of this, every bit of this, is ultimately to focus on success. is to focus on our students' success when they graduate and they have a lifelong career. You've reinvented yourself a couple of times. A salon owner, well, first of all, a stylist, okay, and then working your way through the chairs there and running a bunch of salons. You were up to what, 35 salons?
I was running a group that was in the mid-high 30s
Yeah,
for a multi-unit operation before I went off and did my own thing.
I get it, but then you went on to do platform work. I mean, this is what's so exciting about this industry. And when I hear about people saying, well, I burned out in the industry, how can you burn out in this industry? Because you can reinvent yourself, and there's something new, and do whatever you want to do.
Behind the chair, tomorrow, you can be whoever you want to be with the new customers. You know, how you did it before and what you did before. They've never seen you before. You can show up. You come home from a show. You know, here we are at a show. Right. I tell people 2 things when you get home. Number 1, raise your prices. You know, number 1, raise your prices. You made an investment in yourself. New York's not cheap. You spent money to be better, to be, you know, to raise your skills, to raise your pool of knowledge and everything you do. Go cash that check, raise your prices. But number 2, starting tomorrow with the new customers, if you've never really been good about suggesting and recommending take-home hair care product, they've never met you and they don't know that. Right. If you've never really been a clipper cutter, they don't know that. Start to clipper cut. Right. You know, if you've really shied away from color, tomorrow is the day we start doing hair color.
Right.
Game on.
I love it. And I'm going to treat them a little bit better tomorrow. I'm going to make them feel a little bit more special.
Absolutely.
Because that's what's really going to make the difference. What do you look for in a stylist? In other words, somebody coming out of cosmetology school. People are watching this right now are saying, okay, I've got to get my first job. I'm going to have to get ready for this. What are you looking for? What kind of person do you think that would come into your salon, okay, or when you ran a chain of salons or whatever? What kind of person is going to come in is a person that you know is going to make it for you?
I hired for people skills. Mm-hmm. You know, my philosophy was by the time somebody winds up on the porch, you know, if they went to a cosmetology program through high school maybe, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old, give or take, for a young person right out of cosmetology.
Absolutely.
You know, we have a lot of older people going back to school now, a little different dynamic
we have
there.
all ages.
But in the young people category, my thing was if mom didn't teach you how to answer the phone, we can tell if you're smiling when you answer the phone. If mom didn't get some of that stuff right on the soft skills and the social side, it's probably too late for me in some cases. I can teach anybody how to cut hair. I've done it, and successfully.
Could you teach me, do you think?
I probably could.
Okay,
yes.
But I already know how to answer the phone with a smile, trust me. Thanks, I appreciate that.
But I can teach anybody, but I can't teach somebody how to intrinsically I can teach the soft skills, how to answer my phone. I can teach you how to ring somebody up, how to suggest and recommend, but I can't necessarily address that intrinsic understanding that this is how the magic happens.
Right.
So we hired for soft skills. You know, you got to have a license, you got to have that energy and enthusiasm. We did, you know, interviewing on the soft skill side. We did a little bit of technical interviewing as well. Make sure you've got a base level of competency. I think the most important thing today is you've got to be able to hit certain technical competencies at this base level, and we'll build from there. Because I think I think it's fair to say the better employers out there, whether it was myself then or others now, have training and have ongoing educational programs and are going to be making investments in you.
Absolutely.
If they're not, it's probably time to interview elsewhere, but that are going to be making those investments, both on the technical and the soft side.
But I'm hearing you say something, and I think if we leave this message, and if this is how we wrap this thing up, I think it's an amazing message. What I'm hearing you say is, get yourself a mentor. Because it's somebody that's going to help guide you and give you ideas. And by the way, kick you in the butt whenever you need it. They're going to be there to congratulate you when you need it, et cetera, pick you up. But I also heard you say that work on those people skills. And that is, and you just said it again. You said, I expect them to have a certain minimum amount.
Base level.
But I want to know that they're going to be out there and they're going to do everything they can to make that client feel like $1 million. And that is an amazing skill. And we've heard you say it, and I love the fact that you've said it several times, and that is the technical skill is important, but it is nowhere near the most important. It is absolutely, it's secondary to the ability to make somebody feel good. Look them in the eye, the ability to talk to them, all those kinds of things that you teach all the time.
Yeah, we've all known that incredibly talented technical hair cutter who just can't build business. And the haircuts are just magnificent. They're art.
Absolutely.
But you know what? It's art and it's a balance. You got to hit it.
Oh man, you have hit it. You've hit it in spades. By the way, I've seen you do those quick. I haven't seen you do the 55-second one, but I've seen you do very fast clipper cuts. And I will tell you, as far as I'm concerned, and I've been in this business all of my life, I think they're excellent. And I think what's really amazing, I always feel good, and not even being your client, I feel great just watching you do it, because it is so cool that somebody, you can see somebody looking in the mirror just watching you do this, and they're entertained by this as well. But this is something that a skill that anyone that's watching this could develop.
Absolutely.
Okay, they just have to want to do it.
Absolutely. It's passion, enthusiasm. You know, one of my first employers said, and you know, I came from a sales background, he said, you says, you don't have to worry about Ivan. He said, whatever he lacks in technical skills, he will more than make up for with enthusiasm. And I think it was a compliment at the time. It doesn't matter, that's how I took it.
It is a huge compliment.
Yeah, you know,
in my world,
there's no substitute for that passion. If you show up for work every day, fired up, energized by the possibilities.
You're an amazing man, and I could do this for hours. I'm really serious. The messages you have, and every sentence you've had here, every single word I've hung on, because it's the lesson of life. It's the lesson of success.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Good
You're the best.
Here. Thank you.